Hi, I would like to welcome you to another session of Meet the Experts with Valentina and Kathryn Beacroft from Inspired Health Solutions. Hi Kathryn.
Hello Valentina.
Hi. Nice to have you on my couch.
I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. I must admit, Kathryn is the first person on my couch that I don't have a professional history with, so I am as intrigued as you are to find out all about her.
So I'm a naturopath nutritionist and I'm a herbalist, and basically I use a device in my clinic called an Azara machine. So that I can test people with that to see any imbalances in their body, energetic imbalances. It does a body scan of their whole system. So I start with that, and then depending on what they're presenting with, I might run further tests such as nutrient deficiencies. I might look at hormone imbalances, food intolerances, things like that.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what their situation is as to what I'll then look into further.
Yeah. So for example, if I came into your clinic and, you know, I'm pretty honest, I'll tell everyone I'm just going through menopause at the moment. So if I turned up, you would put me on the Nazaro machine. What does it look like?
It's only a small device.
Okay.
And you basically just hold the probes in your hand, and it sends a mild current into your body.
Yes.
But basically from that it can then determine imbalances. So it's sending in lots of different frequencies to see what's out of balance from your system, but also based on questioning.
Yeah.
I would see what your symptoms are.
Yeah.
And what needs to be addressed.
So when it's looking for what's out of balance, is it looking for minerals?
Yeah, it does that. It's also hormone imbalances.
Hormone imbalances.
Also organ imbalances, so whether or not your liver is functioning optimally,
properly.
whether or not your kidneys need some support, your lymphatics, or your cleansing system, which is quite important for anybody with hormone imbalances.
Yeah, yeah, very important. I notice how I'm able to handle going through menopause depends a lot on what I'm eating.
That's true.
Because that really links into the hormones, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge part. It's a huge part for everybody's health, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's a very key part of my assessment for anybody as to what is your diet. And a lot of people have ideas of what they'd like to be eating, but you know, maybe not necessarily doing that. So helping them to make changes that aren't too dramatic or too drastic, but at the same time will make them, you know, give them more energy and improve their vitality.
Encouraging them along the path to health.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what other things, once you've diagnosed what their needs are, what other things do you give them?
So it just depends again, obviously, on what people present with. So in your case, I'll be looking at herbs.
Yeah.
So
Is
maybe
that Chinese herbs?
I use mainly Western with a few Ayurvedic herbs as well. So
I do coconut pooling every morning. It's an Ayurvedic tradition.
Yes, yes, it is, exactly.
Love it.
That's a great one. So quite a few of my clients do that as well. So it is very good for your health for sure, to remove any of that
The toxins
in your body, the gunk in your mouth, which can contribute to cause a lot of illnesses actually.
Yeah, I've heard that it pulls out metals as well. Is that correct?
Well, it does just help, because metals cause a build-up of toxins just because of their effect. Like, it just attracts that to your body. It's hard to release it.
Yeah. So if you release the metals, the attached toxins are coming out. Yeah. I do it with clove oil. So you would prescribe me with Western herbs and some Ayurvedic herbs. Is there a particular reason you use Western herbs and not traditional Chinese herbs? Is it because our systems respond better? Well, my system would respond better being,
it's
Irish Anglo.
No, look, Chinese herbs are wonderful for sure. It's just when I studied, that was what I studied, the Western and Ayurvedic. So they all have a purpose and a place, and I found that in treating people, that all the herbs that I'm utilising, we get results. So I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah. So you're a results-based practitioner.
Well, yeah. So obviously, the focus is to obtain the person's goal and objective, what they came to see you for. So, and keep reassessing as we go. Like, I might see a person monthly or fortnightly initially, and then just keep reevaluating that if symptoms are changing, and to sometimes to reassure them, because sometimes you can feel a bit worse before you actually get better because your body is actually cleansing.
Yeah.
So that's really important that people understand that.
Yeah, it's the same in all levels of change in your life, really. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. How long have you been in practice for?
5 years.
Wonderful.
So before being a naturopath, I was actually an accountant.
Oh, were you? That's a bit of a change.
So it's quite a change.
No, analytical. Both very analytical
true.
jobs, aren't they?
True.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's quite interesting. So basically I thank my son for leading me down this path, because he developed eczema at a young age, at the age of 1. So it was quite severe, and a friend suggested that I see a naturopath. That I'd never even heard of a naturopath. So I thought, okay, well, I'd like to try that, and the lady I saw had a machine similar to what I now use, and it was so interesting. And obviously my son was healed within a short time. Within 4 months he was, all his skin had totally cleared up.
Wow. Has it returned ever?
Never.
Never returned?
Never returned.
So when you were sick, when you were younger, did you also seek out a naturopath?
No, and I wish that I had. No, because we basically didn't really go to the doctors much at all. My grandmother was really into natural health though, so she'd often just have home remedies, and we would do things like that. But as I got a bit older, I did end up on quite a few courses of antibiotics. I used to get a lot of sinus and things like that, so that affected my whole digestive system.
Yes, and you probably didn't take probiotics.
No.
Yeah.
Because they weren't really around back then.
No, so you wouldn't have known.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I understand you also do flower essences.
Yes, because I find they're really helpful on the energetic level, just to release people's emotions or stresses that they might be having. But flower remedies work really well at that level, and also I use the Australian bush flower remedies, and I find they work really effectively for young children. So any fears, phobias, worries about sleeping, they can really help with that. They can obviously help anybody at any age, for example, with anxiety, even fears of flying, letting go of things that might be bothering them from the past. It can just help ease that.
Yeah. It's just in a little dropper.
Yeah,
a little bottle, a little dropper. The other thing I like about them is they are easy to carry in your purse or wallet.
Exactly.
Maybe not wallet.
Well, that's right, not in your wallet.
But they are easy to carry with you in your purse or in the car, and just put a few drops under your tongue.
They're great for emergency situations. So obviously you've probably heard of emergency essence.
Yes.
Where people, if you're going to be in a situation that's quite stressful, for example an exam or something, someone that may have passed away that's very sad, something like that can really help in those initial stressful situations.
Yeah, I used to use one called Rescue Remedy a lot when my son was a toddler.
That's right.
Him and me. Yeah. What shall we talk about next, Kathryn?
Well, I guess one of the big interests that I have is cleansing people's bodies. If you don't remove the impurities in your system, it's very hard to feel energised. I really look at that quite a fair bit, and that's often an issue for a lot of people. So if that comes up, which it often can, it may not be the first thing that I look at, but then I'll look at addressing that, and I use the system to do that as well.
You use the machine?
Well, I use the machine to identify that, but then I'd go on and I have a certain program that I use where it cleanses your body.
Yes.
And then it also gives your body nutrients. But I also use herbs as well.
Great.
And then it just depends on their diet, we'll look at that and assess that.
Oh, fantastic. And you have a weight loss program as well?
I do. The best way to lose weight is actually to remove impurities from your body.
Yes.
Because if you don't remove those impurities, your body actually has to protect itself from them by storing fat.
Oh, so, I didn't know that.
So it's quite fascinating cleansing system that I use to actually lose weight.
Interesting.
And it works really effectively.
I always thought that your fat cells held toxins, so when you start releasing the fat you can get quite sick because you could be releasing toxins that are 20, 30 years old.
Well, it depends on how
when you were younger and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on what you're doing to lose that weight. So, for example, if someone just tries to really reduce their calories, that's not necessarily a great thing, because then it can affect their whole metabolism.
Yeah.
And then it can slow down your thyroid. People think it's quite straightforward, but it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Depending on how old you are, obviously when you're younger it's not as difficult because you don't have as many
So
impurities.
Kathryn, I was wondering if you could give the people out there 3 tips, what would they be? What would your advice be?
That's a great question. Firstly, number 1 is make sure you're hydrated. Well hydrated with good quality drinking water. I see so many people that are dehydrated.
Yeah, and that's not tea and coffee, is
No,
it?
so actually coffee and black tea actually make your body lose water. So it's just...
Opposite effect.
So some people say, oh, but I'm drinking 10 cups of tea and coffee a day. Well, that's going to dehydrate you even more. You need to be drinking about 2.5 to 3 litres of water a day, depending on how much exercise you're doing. If you do exercising a lot, even more again. But it needs to be good quality water. So preferably you'd have filtered water, because you need to be removing the chemicals out of the water that we get supplied, which unfortunately has chloride and a lot of other chemicals added to it, which are no good for us at all.
I find that when you've got good water, filtered or mangrove mountain water, you do drink more.
It tastes great, and you're more inclined to drink it. Tip number 2 is the basics of health, which is eat really well. Okay. You cannot feel well if you're not feeding your body with good nutrition. Plan your week. So take the time on the weekend or whatever day suits you to say, how many meals do I need to make this week, and plan it out. What do you really want to eat that's healthy? And you're more inclined to stick to that. Whereas if you don't plan, that's where unfortunately, yes, half an hour before dinner you haven't planned anything, there's nothing to eat, where you might make bad food decisions, or also when you're out and about you might not have prepared snacks to take with you, healthy snacks.
So prepare your snacks.
Yeah. So take some trail mix it with some seeds and nuts, goji berries, something healthy, make some bounce balls if you have time, make yourself a wrap, and you'll actually save money and you'll feel better. Number 3 is if you know that you have issues with your digestive system, if your gut is not working right and it's not happy, you need to do something about it, because you are what you absorb, not what you eat. Everyone believes it's what you eat, it's actually what you absorb.
You are what you absorb.
Yeah.
The concept of us as practitioners starting our balanced lifestyles with ourselves is very important to me.
Sure.
And I'm interested in how people walk the talk. So how do you, as a naturopath, walk the talk, Kathryn?
Well, I definitely follow what I was just saying, my 3 tips. So I really drink a lot of water, and that water is filtered rainwater, so it's actually tastes great. I eat vegetarian, like I was saying, so I eat lots of different fibre and nuts and seeds and eggs and eat really well. I do also like to relax by meditating, which I could do more of. And I like being out in nature and just staying balanced as best as possible without getting too caught up in everything.
Time in nature.
I do exercise to just get the fluids moving in your body, the blood and lymph and things like that, which help to cleanse your body. And I do like cleansing regularly.
Yes, you do a fast 1 day a week.
Yeah, 1 day a week where I cleanse, and I virtually don't eat much at all. So that actually energises me as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So I do that.
Thank you.